Hi guys, it's Georgia here from eDog Australia, and we thought we would come together today to chat about puppies. We know it's kind of puppy time of the year, especially with COVID and lockdowns. Everyone's been getting puppies, so we've heard this year, and we've had lots of great emails asking us about what everyone can do and what products we can offer you. So we thought today we'd go through a little bit of an FAQ video to let you know all you need to know about having puppies within that first 0 to 6 months. So when your puppy is young, you really need to start introducing them to new sounds, new smells, new feelings and new environments. Obviously, when you first receive your puppy between the 8 to 16 weeks, they haven't received their vaccinations yet. So it's super important to keep them home. And in that environment, you can ensure to expose them to things like the hairdryer, blow dryer, storm noises, different smells and surfaces around your home to make them happy, confident and well-adapted dogs. We say well-adapted because we want your dog to suit your lifestyle, and you also need to work to have the lifestyle that your dog suits and needs from you. So let's chat about the first 8 to 16 weeks. This is when your dog will be receiving their vaccinations. Now, depending on your dog breed and your dog size, you may have between 2 to 3 vaccinations, and it's very, very important to listen to your vet. If your vet says your dog needs 2, don't let them out of the house. In this process, and you just want to show the world your brand new beautiful puppy, we find it's very important to start your collar and lead training here. Like most common household dogs, they'll be wearing a collar, and we do suggest this. This doesn't come naturally to dogs, so make sure you pop that collar on nice and early. If you are going to have a bell like a cat, which is also a great idea, make sure you get that on as soon as you can so your dog becomes well adapted to that sound, as well as their tag knocking against their collar. I know my dog definitely got a bit of a fright when that first started happening for him. And this is a great time to start lead training. All of our dogs need to walk on a lead, and it might come as a surprise to you, but not all dogs take to the lead naturally. I know mine certainly didn't, and I had very embarrassing moments walking down my street with my dog just not wanting to move at all. So yeah, start that. That's a really good place to also create a bond between you and your dog, and that's also a really great way to kind of start getting excited for when you can take them out of the house. Another point to remember now, while you've got the 8 to 16 weeks, is introducing them to all the new sounds that they're going to need to have throughout their lives. This is a real pivotal point in your dog's life to get them comfortable with the big bad world. And big bad world means vacuum cleaners, hair dryers, mops, clippers, and storms, thunderstorms. So get on YouTube, put it on your TV, make sure your dog is used to the noises, rain and lightning. We have a lot of people that come to us saying that winter's a really, really tough time for their dogs, and the relationship with their neighbours, because their dogs just are terrified of the storms and try to get out as well. So as we said, just put on YouTube or something like that, and that will keep your dog nice and comfortable with those noises. Exposing them to different surfaces. So grass under their feet. Surprisingly, some dogs can be really uncomfortable with grass under their feet or wet grass. That's when you have also dramas in winter when dogs don't want to go outside to wee or poo. Pavement as well, obviously. Carpet's a tricky thing when you have a young dog. So make sure you expose them to the carpet so they start to become aware of where they do need to go outside to go to the toilet, and that the carpet is inside and not for any kind of business other than fun and play. As well as scents like food or shampoos. If you have a specific dog with a skin allergy, maybe the shampoo, they need to start to get used to that smell, to associate that smell and that process of grooming them is a positive one and not something that they need to be wary about. Great, I think that almost covers everything in that time frame. We also think it's super important at this stage to start touching your dog's paws and in between the pads of their feet. This will help when they grow up and you need to go to the vet. Lots of dogs, especially in WA, can have the grass seeds, so that's a really good point to start getting them comfortable with you touching their feet, as well as their ears, their mouth and their teeth. I have a very large dog, and that was something really important to me when he was young, that I could have my nose to his nose and never have to think twice about that. Obviously do everything safely that you can, But also pick and choose. If you have a large dog, there are obviously things, if you have children, that they need to be aware of, having their tail touched or their ears touched. That's a really good one to remember. So after the 16-week period, you are free. You can take your dogs out, spoil the rotten, and show them off. This is a great time to start socializing them anywhere and everywhere that you can. So we suggest getting them out to the beach, making them comfortable with water. This is also really important because your dog needs to be comfortable around other dogs and in crowds of dogs and people. It can be really hard as a dog owner if you have a dog that's uncomfortable being around masses of dogs or people. Obviously that can put you in a really tricky situation if you are trying to be social. So we suggest going down to your local park, your local beach, friends' houses and things like that if you know that their dog has been vaccinated and you trust that relationship and the relationship with your friends as two owners. We also suggest at this time that you need to start introducing your puppy to different aged people. So whether that's babies or the elderly, so they start to understand where they fit in the pecking order, one could say. And as well as the fact that they can become, comfortable and confident with different heights. I know a lot of dogs can be a bit wary of smaller children if they're a smaller dog, and vice versa with adults. So start to introduce them. Maybe you can go to your local pub and find a nice table out the front with a bowl of water for them, and just let them people watch just as you would. They love doing that as well. This is also a really important time to encourage curiosity. The freedom and the trust that you give your dog when you allow them to be curious is very important in creating that bond, as well as allowing them to know that you trust them and they trust you. I've found personally it scared the living daylights out of me when I let my dog off the lead at the first time at the park, but he just did so well, and all of a sudden he knew I trusted him, and it was a happily ever after. Also, we suggest if your dog does become uncomfortable in a situation that you are socializing them in, try and create a calm sound or a calm word between you and your dog. As silly as that may sound, it really does work, and it's worked for me a lot. It just creates that instant you and them bond. So don't remove them from the situation straight away. Obviously, dangerous situations can come up and you need to judge that at the right time. We don't want to reinforce a negative environment for your dog. So if your dog is just a little bit more timid, don't pick them up at the park or the beach for argument's sake, as other dogs will jump, and that can cause a bit of complications there. We just say simply calm your dog down, don't remove them, and if you do need to take them out of the environment, wait until things have calmed down and then move on, so your dog is not associating that experience or that location with something negative, as it's really important when you have a puppy to make sure that everything is positive. Whether that's with food reinforcement or words or tone of voice, puppies really need to know that they're being encouraged and trusted, and if they do something wrong, that's not going to shame them, that you just move from that together, and that's where it's great to be aware to not reinforce those negative reactions at the park or at the beach or at the vet as well. Speaking of vets, we do suggest that you try and find a vet that you absolutely love through the whole lifetime and well-being of your dog, as this can create a really happy environment for them and completely eliminate any worries that you might need to have with going to the vet. I'm very lucky. My dog loves going to the vet now. In fact, he kind of pulls us straight through the door when we get there. So maybe even go to puppy school at your vet. I know a lot of clinics are doing that at the moment, and then they're getting used to, just like what we said before, smells, sounds, noises of your vet. So that completely eliminates any stress you need to worry about then. What else have I got on my lovely board of tricks here? Beautiful. Environments. You need to, as we've said, do that. But we also think that's something really important if you have a regular dog sitter, or in my case, my lovely mum and dad look after my dog when we go away. And we felt that was really important to keep taking our dog Sunny over to their house, so they became really comfortable in that environment. So that if we were to leave, he's not panicking, he's really comfortable. So if you have your in-laws, your parents, a sister's house, or a friend who's going to be willing to look after your dog on the occasion, then we suggest definitely going to do that. Grooming. If you are taking your dogs to the groomers, which most of us do because it's a terrifying experience to know what we're doing, we suggest doing that. go drop in, introduce your dog to your groomer, let them have a smell and let them hear the noises of the clippers or the nail clippers as such. Getting your dog's nails clipped is something that you're going to need to do, and we definitely do stress to look out for this, as it's something that we can tend to forget, especially with puppies. Some of your local city farmers and things like that will have nail clipping services, if not your vet. So we suggest getting them used to that at a very young age, as I have to keep a 60-kilo dog down on the ground while he's getting his nails clipped, and that is super tricky, and I wish that we did that much earlier. So from me to you, go for it. As well as music and noises in other environments. So if you are a young couple and you expect to be hosting more often than not, definitely have music playing. I know I leave the radio on for my dog every single day when I'm not at the house with him, because we really want him to be comfortable with noises and different people and male and female voices as well. So that can be a great option to do with your puppy. The radio has worked really well for us. We've found that's been great company, only having one dog. So definitely jump on that and try and make it a radio station with quite a bit of talking besides the music, as that way they're getting a nice kind of exposure to all the noises that you need. And so in addition, just to wrap it all up, because I've been talking my mouth off, just remember, when you're training puppies, they are babies, so we can't expect them to do everything straight away. Repetitiveness is key for you, for them, and for the whole environment of the town who is raising them, really. So they tire easy. So just do a couple of rounds of training and then give them a break. They'll probably fall asleep or they'll want to play. Just like babies, their attention span can be a little bit less than what we would like them to. Freedom and trust is what we touched on previously when we were trying to build the bonds with our puppies when they're younger. Give them the ability to be free, and I think you'll be quite surprised sometimes how much you can be rewarded from that. And trust them, and trust your training, and if you don't trust your training, do some more. Triggers. Dogs will have triggers just like humans will. Unfortunately, some of those triggers can be tricky in our normal day lives. Vacuums, as we said, brooms, particular cars. Some dogs can have triggers of hats, no hats, glasses, black jumpers with hoods. I've met a couple of dogs like that. So just be aware of your dog's triggers and understand that dogs can have triggers. And if there is something that you're nervous about, work on that when they're young. So get the broom out, sweep, vacuum, mop. My dog's trigger is skateboards, which is really strange. So we just walk past the skate park almost every morning just to try and alleviate that for him. But we're aware that if someone does come past us with a skateboard, we kind of have to deal with that. And that's not a problem. That's just something that we've got to deal with. And that's okay. Food and strangers, which I think is a great point. We like to reward our dogs with food, and that's great because that works for us. But then our dogs can start to get used to the fact of meeting people and expecting food. And we've all had that dog that just sniffs your pocket and won't leave your side or scratches at your pocket. So just keep an eye on that. Make sure that you definitely are mixing up your rewards with training. So food is great, but also is getting down like a crouching tiger and raising the tone of your voice. Dogs love that. It's excitable for them. Or pats. If you find their sweet spot, go straight for that as a reward and just keep mixing it up. Food is a great option, but it's not always the one we should be using, because then we wonder why they've also put on all this weight and we've been feeding them the same thing, and then it's just crazy. All of a sudden there's 3 extra kilos and you've got to work extra hard to get that off them. And another one that I think is really important, and it has been for me with puppies, is growing in size. You need to understand what dog breed you have selected and what that means for its future. My puppy was quite small when I got him, and now he's as tall as me on his back legs and weighs exactly the same. So I needed to realise that for me, jumping was not going to be an option. I have my grandparents and I have babies everywhere in my life. So for my dog to jump up is just way too risky and stressful and dangerous, and you as an owner might be fine with it, but you don't want people coming to your house and feeling uncomfortable or being out and about and that being a problem for you. So just be aware, and if you have small dogs, is barking going to be a problem for you? Is scratching or is nipping ankles going to be a problem? All the dogs have the same problems. but some can just be more amplified, such as jumping in a large dog or nail scratching with a small dog. So just be quite aware when they're young as to what they're going to be and the lifestyle that you want to give your dog. If you want your dog to be a cruiser, a beach goer and a Sunday movie watcher, encourage that in your lifestyle. And if you want your dog to be beside you where you're running marathons and swimming to Rottnest and back, raise them like that. Allow them to enjoy what you enjoy and have the same hobbies as you have. And you'd be very pleasantly surprised at the final product. I absolutely love my dog, and we've done all the things that I've just mentioned before. And everyone's different, but these are a few of the FAQs that we've decided to kind of let you know, so that you can hop on your journey and have a really great relationship and bond with your dog, and make sure that you address some of those lifestyle concerns and puppy problems like being afraid of the hair dryers or grooming, and things like that nice and early, so you're setting yourself up for a happy long life of puppy love. So thank you so much for joining us today, guys. You'll see me a few more times. Matt is on a lovely Christmas holiday at the moment, so we'll check back in with you later. Thank you. Bye.